The 26 players on Team Canada's roster have scored a combined 5,189 goals. They have scored more than 14,000 career points. They've won 32 Stanley Cups. They've won 17 Canada Cups. And now here's Primo taking it away from Gonchar. Primo for Verbeek, and a big save right off the bat is made by Andrei Trefilov. Andrei Nicolishin for hooking Eric Lindros.
And Nicolishin loses his stick, as you rightly called here, Gordon, and he just grabs onto Lindros, stick, arm, and all. Right here, you can see the grab, and that's why he'll go off for holding.
Face off in the Russian zone. Now Lindros out there with Wayne Gretzky and Theoren Fleury, Paul Coffey and Steve Yzerman back on the point. But the draw is won by Alexei Yashin out there killing the penalty, and Lindros hammered Shetnik in the corner. Here's Scott Niedermayer. Ahead for Trevor Linden. Linden takes a bump and then gets dropped. Darius Kasparaitis took him out low. And this is Kasparaitis. He took a shot from Linden. And they're going to call Trevor Linden for bringing down Darius Kasparaitis. Now Danfus sends it over for Fleury. Cross-ice pass for Wayne Gretzky. Centers it. Deflected to score! Theoren Fleury! 1-0 Canada. 20 seconds to go in the Canadian penalty. Here comes Vincent Danfus with Wayne Gretzky. Danfus, Gretzky, and the puck bounced over his stick. Oleg Tverdovsky brings it back the other way. The Russians 3 wide. Tverdovsky for McGillivray, big collision. Puck loose in front, they score! Alexei Zhamnov gets the rebound and ties the game at 1. It's a power play goal with 5 seconds left in the penalty to Claude Lemieux. And Oleg Tverdovsky was involved in a huge collision in front of the Canadian goal.
How many times have we seen it in the game of hockey where you get a chance down one end, Danfus just can't land this flat for Wayne Gretzky. Great try, and then this goes right down the ice. That's Tverdovsky. Now watch the collision here. Bang! Whoa. There's a collision there. And Zhamnov will come off screen, just put it right by Martin Brodeur.
Ed Jovanovski levels Oleg Tverdovsky.
Jovanovski steps up. Here's a chance by Zhamnov. Boy, there's a guy you don't want to give too many chances to.
Got it ahead for Kovalenko. Kovalenko working one-on-one, and Jovanovski hammers him down. 20-year-old Ed Jovanovski, the youngest player on this Canadian roster, throwing his weight around.
Well, Eddie Jovanovski stepped right in here for Al MacInnis, and not to replace him, but you can see where Jovanovski's done a good job of doing what he's good at. He's taken the body twice, Gordon. He's made impact. That time on Andrei Kovalenko.
20 seconds to go in the Canadian penalty. Danfus hooks down Valerie Bure. Now here comes Kovalev sending it in front for Gonchar. Jovanovski did a good job breaking up that pass. Now McGillivray for Gonchar. Lots of time. Gonchar off the skates of Rob Blake. Kasparaitis. Gonchar tees it up. Loose puck in front. They score! Eric Lindros out there with Keith Primo and Claude Lemieux, 2 players who give him a hard time in the NHL regular season. Now Kovalenko out there. Kovalenko scores! And Jovanovski getting a lot of ice time in this opening period. Added from Canada's list of alternates to replace Al MacInnis just hours ago. Now Messier behind the net. Mark Messier centers it, but the net came off. It's pegs. And now Darius Kasparaitis is into it right in the goal area. Darius Kasparaitis, as you might expect, has been a burr in the Canadian saddle throughout this game, and that's what he specializes in doing. And he was pushing and shoving down there with Pat Verbeek and then Adam Graves.
Well, Kasparaitis' gloves, Gord, came off first. Will there be an initial response here by Dan Marawelli? There's Verbeek. Verbeek actually knocks Kasparaitis into the net. You can see Kasparaitis with the gloves off quickly. Now they met a number of times. Kasparaitis is an Islander, Verbeek in recent days as a Ranger, and now a Dallas Star.
And 2 players not afraid to mix it up, at least in the pushing and shoving sense. Look at him fight off Zhitnik. And And now back to the point. Keith Primo with a shot deflected by Lindros just wide. Lindros still with it. Lost the puck now to Slava Kozlov. And Eric Lindros is hurt at the Canadian blue line. Eric Lindros is down and now crawls to the Canadian bench. And grave concern for Eric Lindros.
Now here's a good look at the Lindros. Sergei Gonchar gets the stick, the butt end of the stick up into Lindros' face. And that's what creates a problem for Eric Lindros.
I'd say both teams for different reasons.
And you know, of course, Jeremy Roenick and Chris Chelios are playing tonight for the U.S. And look at this. Sergei Gonchar is bound to be a marked man tonight. He's the guy who got his butt end up earlier on Eric Lindros. And so now Kovalev's in it with Pat Verbeek. Now, isn't that ironic? Former teammates with the Rangers.
Well, I think if the Russians want to play the game this way, certainly the Canadians, this will be very comfortable for the Canadians. It's something that we'd like to set a tone, especially considering they're our first opponents on Thursday.
There'll obviously be tremendous anticipation for that game, and no doubt some of the tone being set tonight is deliberate, is it not?
Well, definitely. That's part of the exhibition. That's what exhibition is for. We don't get a chance to see these guys, and as I mentioned before, this is how you bring a team together.
And the loose puck in front, Trefilov able to knock it away. Coffey back at the point. Coffey scores! Now Berezin at the end of a long shift out there for the Russians. Berezin across the line. Leaves the drop pass there for Semak, who got crushed up along the boards by Fleury. Now Kovalenko. He hammered Keith Primo. And Mark Messier, who's been known to jar a few Russians in his day, sent it ahead, and I'll tell you what, Pat Verbeek got hammered there by Andrei Nikolishin. Great physical play in a World Cup pre-tournament game. Zhamnov centers it, McGillney shot, blocked by Adam Foote, it's hurt. Adam Foote scoops it up, and blocking that shot appears to have hurt Adam Foote of the Colorado Avalanche. And this is the last thing Team Canada needs to see. Eric Lindros has his revenge. Don't mess with 88.
He's got him in his sights right here. He just turned. And there's the first hit. Kasparaitis goes after Lindros and falls down and trying to retaliate.
Loose puck in front. Paul Coffey pitching up to get it. And Coffey wins the battle with Larionov. Now side of that. Graves backhand shot. Rebound. Trefilov another save. And Pat Verbeek standing right on top of him. And more pushing and shoving breaks out. Look at Mark Messier. Messier wants Kovalenko. Adam Graves.
In the middle of that.
Adam Graves is tied up too, I think, with Oleg Tvernovsky. Here's another guy you don't want to mess with.
Well, both Graves and Messier were right in front of Andrei Trefilov, and it was amazing to see Trefilov stand in there. Normally a goaltender will go off to the corner, but Trefilov continues to get involved. Certainly Messier and Graves were very involved. Paul Coffey will come back screen right here, and he begins it. There's the hit by Coffey. The response, we've got Messier and Graves involved. Trefilov, look, he's looking to try and get his man.
If you think back, too, to the 1984 Canada Cup, an infamous moment from Mark Messier, an elbow on a young player named Vladimir Kovin in Edmonton in the round robin that laid him out for about 10 minutes. It was a vicious hit.
Under a little checking pressure from Kovin. Kovin around the board. Kovin is upended. There's going to be another penalty. He's got the puck at center ice, an elbowing penalty. Tugging on him, and Messier comes in and throws a stiff body check. Catches him maybe with a little elbow in the head, but referee Olsen was a little delayed in calling that penalty.
And it certainly sent a message, and Mark Messier has not been forgotten since. Gretzky for Fleury. His soft shot handled easily by Trefilov. Puck up on the back of the net, and Trefilov will hang on as Theoren Fleury takes his shot at Darius Kasparaitis. And we've got a penalty coming up to Kasparaitis, I believe.
Here's what happened, Gord. Kasparaitis was getting slashing, and then he actually tried to manhandle Dan Marawelli, I think Kasparaitis is going to go for a long time. Here's the slash here, right there.
Ouch.
You can see that slash on Theoren Fleury. Now watch Kasparaitis. Paw is in play. Kasparaitis, as Fleury walks away, actually goes after Marawelli. And I think we're going to see
a double minor to Darius Kasparaitis. Slashing is the first, and unsportsmanlike conduct is the second. Coffey for Fleury. One times it over for Niedermayer, who couldn't handle the pass. Gretzky with Lindros in front. Gretzky backhand shot. Lindros looking for the loose puck, and Trefilov with a little butt end on Eric Lindros. And now the puck is cleared out. Here comes the breakaway for Alexei Zhamnov, short-handed. Stopped by Brodeur. Lindros brings it back the other way. Drop for Gretzky. Here's Coffey, tees it up. Pad save by Trefilov. And the Russians bring it right back. McGillney working on Rolf Blake. Centers it. Zhamnov, another save by Brodeur. His former teammate Dmitry Yuskevich got into it with him here.
Yuskevich, 24-year-old Yuskevich, comes after Lindros and then responds, but you got to wonder what's on his mind right there. Not only have you got Eric Lindros, but you've got to go through his stick.
Those two actually had a very warm greeting this morning, said hello and exchanged pleasantries. But that's over with now. Wayne Gretzky trying to find Theoren Fleury. Instead goes back to the point to Niedermayer. Now Gretzky chips it ahead. Lindros scores! Eric Lindros ties the game. Now a foot race for it. Kasparaitis back there with Gretzky. And Gretzky gave him a bit of a whack and even a bit of a stare on the way by. Eric Lindros' goal has Canada even with Russia at 3. Slava Kozlov had it knocked away by Messier, who gets it ahead for Coffey. Coffey with Messier and Verbeek. Messier down low for Verbeek. Verbeek side of the centers and Grant scores! Rob Blake brings it ahead for Canada. LA King fans will be watching his progress in the tournament closely. Lindros takes a hard bump. Gretzky behind the net for Fleury. Blake to Fleury. Canada 3 wide of the blue line. Now Fleury down low for Gretzky. Gretzky waits. Centers it. Lindros was knocked down, and Lindros tomahawked Dmitry Yuskevich. Chopped them down like a tree. I guess they won't be going to any Flyer reunions together. Now Kovalenko, short-handed. Stopped from behind by Coffey. Kovalenko gets the backhand shot. Rebound. They score! Alexei Kovalev.
Here's a hit on Yashin. Alexei Yashin, he's just overpowered by Eric Lindros, almost tossed into the bench. And Alexei Yashin's very strong on his feet. So that gives you a pretty good indication of how strong Eric Lindros is.
And the first meeting between Canada and Russia at this World Cup ends in a draw. And Lindros ends it as he takes a run at Kovalenko. So some bad blood at the end of this game. And a stick wound up in the crowd. The next time they meet, it'll be for real. It'll be the opening game for both teams in the World Cup Thursday in Vancouver.
Well, both teams have got lineup changes to look at. You know that number 88, Lindros, even after the whistle here, continues through on his hit. And you know he'll be in the lineup, but who else will be in the lineup? The Russians, probably be Bure. Certainly will know Pavel Bure, unless there's a problem, will be playing. And as will Sergei Fedorov. And there'll be two very strong players to add to this Russian contingent.